Hello, Commanders fans. Today we have exclusive news that you can't miss. So get ready, because there's a lot of important information coming. Before we start, we'd like to take the opportunity to subscribe to the channel, activate the bell, and stay up to date with all the news about our Commanders. Don't forget to leave a like, which really strengthens our community and helps bring this content to those who are most passionate about the team. Now, without further ado, let's get straight to today's news. 5 free agent WRs not named T. Higgins that the Commanders could pursue in 2025. Great wide receivers like T. Higgins, Cooper Kupp, and Deebo Samuel Sr. could be on the move this offseason. The Washington Commanders have cash on hand and a genuine need for a big play weapon to pair with Terry McLaurin. It seems like a natural fit for any of those players. I've been arguing against them. Kupp and Samuel are reportedly on the trade block. Both are in the twilight of their careers. While they could certainly fill a void in Washington, Adam Peters would be unwise to give up too much in terms of draft capital or salary cap space to get veterans who are trending downward. Higgins is a much more attractive option. He's younger. He's a free agent. There are just 2 hurdles. His salary demands will be enormous, and the Commanders are already paying McLaurin. With other needs at offensive line, cornerback, and edge rusher, Peters must ensure he can build his entire roster. Then there's the fact that the Cincinnati Bengals could franchise tag Higgins again to appease quarterback Joe Burrow. That would likely take him off the market. None of this means Peters should give up on adding a receiver via free agency. It just means he should look for better bargains. He did that extremely well last year. Here are 5 pending free agents who might be better fits. I'll warn you up front, some of these players don't have the name recognition or track record of the ones mentioned above. Looking ahead, that means absolutely nothing. Here we go. Free agent wide receivers not named T. Higgins that the Commanders could pursue. Stefon Diggs and Chris Godwin. Similar situations and an uncertain future. Stefon Diggs and Chris Godwin are 2 of the most respected names among NFL wide receivers, and both face similar challenges in their careers at the moment. Both players are recovering from significant injuries that prematurely ended their 2024 seasons, leaving questions about their return to full fitness and future impact in the league. Stefon Diggs, who played just 8 games this season before getting hurt, suffered a torn anterior cruciate ligament, ACL, a serious injury that requires a long recovery and intense rehabilitation. Chris Godwin, meanwhile, played 7 games before dislocating his ankle, another issue that could directly impact his mobility and performance on the field. Both players are already in later stages of their careers, which makes these injuries even more concerning. Age and medical history are crucial factors when assessing recovery ability and the impact these injuries could have on future performance. Potential market value drop. With these medical uncertainties, it is likely that the market value of Diggs and Godwin will take a significant hit. Their respective teams and potential suitors will need to consider not only the players' undeniable talent, but also the risks associated with their return. However, it is still too early to determine exactly how much of an impact these injuries will have on trades and interest from other teams. If he recovers well, Chris Godwin could continue to be a reliable receiver, especially on possession plays, but still capable of making big plays in the open field. Prior to his injury, he had an impressive performance against the Washington Commanders in Week 1 and was on the rise when he suffered his ankle injury. Stefon Diggs, while he has lost some of his explosiveness from years past, remains a threat on deep plays. His ability to track and adjust to long balls is among the best in the league. Furthermore, with his roots in Maryland, where he played for Good Counsel High School and the University of Maryland, a potential return to Washington could represent a symbolic chance to end his career close to home. The recovery of both players will need to be closely monitored by interested teams. How Diggs and Godwin respond to the rehabilitation process, their physical condition ahead of the 2025 season, and medical tests will be determining factors in defining their next steps in the NFL. In the meantime, the market and fans alike are waiting to see if these veterans still have the gas in the tank to continue shining in the league. Darius Slayton, an underrated talent waiting for the right opportunity. Darius Slayton has built a solid NFL career, racking up over 250 receptions and averaging an impressive 15 yards per reception. Normally, numbers like these would qualify a wide receiver as a reliable vertical threat, capable of stretching the field and punishing careless defenses. However, for New York Giants fans, Slayton has always seemed like a player who fell short of expectations, never quite reaching the potential he demonstrated in his rookie season. This narrative of disappointment surrounding Slayton, however, deserves a deeper look. Oftentimes, when evaluating a wide receiver who is not performing at his peak, it is essential to look beyond individual statistics and consider external factors, such as the quality of the quarterback and the sensitive scheme in which the player is inserted. A wide receiver's position is highly dependent on the context around him. In Slayton's case, he spent most of his career with Daniel Jones, a quarterback who is average at best. Furthermore, Jones often played behind a terrible experienced line that failed to consistently screen him. This severely limited the Giants' ability to exploit the deep passing game, one of Slayton's strengths. The problem was structural. If the Giants' offense couldn't even maximize the talents of a player like Saquon Barkley, one of the league's most dynamic running backs, it's clear that the struggles are far beyond Slayton's performance. Despite these specs, the wide receiver has repeatedly reported that he still has the ability to attack defenses vertically and make explosive plays. Now imagine Slayton inserted into a more dynamic offensive scheme structured to exploit his speed and athleticism. An offense designed by Cliff Kingsbury, with a promising quarterback like Jaden Daniels at the helm, could finally unlock his full potential. With a more supportive structure and a system that values fast, explosive receivers, Slayton would have the opportunity to reinvent himself and prove that he can be much more than a secondary target. Beyond the field, Slayton has also distinguished himself as a positive presence in the community. He was recognized with the United Way of New York City's Hometown Hero Award and was nominated by the New York Giants for the prestigious 2024 Walter Payton Man of the Year Award, one of the highest recognitions for athletes who make a difference off the field. Darius Slayton may never have become the star that many expected in New York, but his NFL story is far from being written completely. Given the right conditions, he has everything to show that he is still a legitimate threat in the league's passing game. Elijah Moore. I can hear New York Jets and Cleveland Browns fans laughing from here. Elijah Moore has been a bust since being drafted in the second round of the 2021 NFL Draft. But then again, I suggest you take a look at the quarterbacks he's played with before closing the books on the versatile performer. In his first 2 seasons, Zach Wilson was his signal caller. In his last 2 years in Cleveland, Moore lined up with 7 different starting quarterbacks. How can any receiver thrive under those circumstances? The best of them was the mercurial Jameis Winston, who started in the second half of last year. During that stretch, Moore saw his production increase from virtually non-existent to respectable, averaging 5 receptions and nearly 60 receiving yards per game over a 6-game span. Moore has always scored well off the break. He gets open. The problem is that he's rarely had quarterbacks who can get him the ball. Like Slayton, receiving passes from Daniels would be a huge step forward. Nick Westbrook-Ikhine. Nick Westbrook-Ikhine is a bona fide big receiver. He's 6 feet 2 inches and 215 pounds. He won't blow anyone away with his speed, but the former Indiana Hoosier has become a steady producer since signing with the Tennessee Titans as an undrafted free agent in 2020. He's always been a physical pass catcher, excelling in tight catch situations. That's resulted in 9 touchdowns this season. Commanders fans will remember that. He scored 2 against Washington in Week 13. On the first, he got past Mike Sainristil. On the second, he absorbed a big hit from Jeremy Chin at the goal line and held on. Like Slayton, Westbrook-Ikhine is a good guy. We know that because last month local writers in Nashville presented him with the Eddie George PFWA Good Guy Award. There will come a time when Peters will have to stop looking for bargains and spend some of his money on a true game changer. Maybe that will be Higgins this year. I would prefer he do it on a player like Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, or best of all, Myles Garrett. None of the above receivers, not even big names like Diggs and Godwin, would make as much of an impact as Higgins, but they would improve the offense and free up the money needed to get a key player or 2 on defense.